Kelly Flowers from Scotland thinks Formula One is a family sport, saying it was something her dad always watched, but she found boring. Her dad cried when Ayrton Senna died, and she found his reaction bizarre for someone he'd never met. Such was the emotion it evoked in him. She started watching as David Coulthard got his seat, and she was instantly hooked. Her dad and her went to Silverstone for his birthday, and now her husband and her love F1. They included an F1 trip in their honeymoon and went to Monza, the home of racing in Italy, for his 50th birthday last year. They love watching all motorsport and follow Formula E, with ex-F1 drivers moving across there. And it delivers a powerful sustainability message, and are trying to get their children into it too. Starting with Formula E, which the children prefer, as Kelly thinks it's tailored to younger people with fun and games at the racetrack village, and its sustainability messaging. In terms of the future, F1 has hardcore fans. Fans like Kelly want it to go back to the classic grunting loud engines. She'll never forget Silverstone 2001 because of them. You could hear the engines roaring from the car park. It made the hairs on her neck stand up. Kelly says that's what F1 does. It's the noise, the thrill, the danger. These drivers risk their lives for our entertainment. Formula One has been racing around the world for 75 years. Since that first race at the Silverstone circuit in Northamptonshire, England, there have been over 1,100 races, almost 800 drivers with more than 100 race winners, and 34 driver champions. But it's more than just the drivers that make Formula One, it's the fans that drive them on and support them. What you have heard and will hear are all real stories from a variety of F1 fans. Anna Watkins, a student from Colchester in Essex, only started getting into F1 just a few years ago, but it already means quite a bit to her.
I guess for me it's a kind of constantly changing and evolving industry and sport, and I think that's why I find it so intriguing. I think it's appealing because it's fast, it's fun, it's interesting, there's a lot to learn as somebody who's new to the sport, and you can kind of deep dive into so many different aspects of the sport.
Alan Innes from the Hathern radio-controlled Stock Car Club says he's been watching nearly all his life, and as a Williams fan, he started following in the 1976 season, the speed, technology and engineering. That's what it means to him. It's like modern-day gladiators fighting to be the greatest. How long have you been involved in Formula One for?
Since, I want to say, 2020, 2021. I was always aware of it growing up. My granddad, who was a mechanical engineer, but he never worked in motorsport. He taught it, actually. He loved it, loved anything to do with cars and motorsport, and that was kind of his whole life. So it was often on in the background when I was growing up, but I never really showed an interest. I was like, oh, it's just men, it's boring. But I kind of became a bit immersed in the culture through social media, and then just completely fell in love with the sport.
Yoshi Chauhan is an ecology and conservation student at the University of East Anglia and has only recently started getting into Formula One.
My relation to F1, which is an amazing sport, is that when I was younger, my dad and my uncle, they watched it together and I saw them watching it. And, I got slightly interested, but I wasn't fully there yet. And then when I came to university, I had Motorsoc, which is a UEA club, and that got me really into F1. Really love it, I enjoy it. I get to watch it with my friends, and we absolutely adore it. It becomes big nights, and obviously we get rowdy, because we're all supporting our singular fan, on our singular driver, and then it kind of comments, but it turns into debates as well, and it's a really fun thing to have.
However, all these races, drivers and teams means there's been a lot of distance driven. 363,956 kilometres to be precise. And of course, Formula One, it's a motor racing series, so it's powered by internal combustion engines, or ICE for short. ICE runs on non-renewable fuels, and throughout its history, F1 cars have been burning for a lot of petrol. Now, while it's difficult to know exactly just how much F1 has impacted the environment throughout its quarter-of-a-century run, there has been a focus on addressing this. In 2014, new regulations were brought in to swap out the old V8s for new hybrid V6s, but now, 10 years later, where does F1 go next? They've published sustainability reports and have a focus on getting to net zero by 2030, but what does this all mean, and what do fans think about F1 and its sustainability drive?
From 2018 to 2022, they've had a 13% reduction in their pollution, which is equivalent to the form of 223,031 tons of carbon dioxide, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the main thing about this is we want to reduce how much carbon dioxide we're putting in the atmosphere, because it takes the carbon dioxide cycle 10,000 years to get back to the state it needs to be.
A lot of fans want to return to the loud, screaming V8s, V10s, V12. Obviously this isn't sustainable, but some say that they could do this with biofuels.
Biofuels is a good option. Now, it's also a cost of how much biofuel you can create in a singular area and what goes into making those biofuels, because obviously the logistics of it and making the biofuels could be more harmful and cause more pollution. But it is possible. We could go back to the V8 engines, you know, that runs on biofuel, makes really loud sounds. And as a fan as well, I would love that. I want to hear the engine roar. I want to see it racing down the line, roaring as it goes. You imagine it as this mythical dragon beast that's running down the racetrack. That's what you want to hear it. With biofuels, I think it is possible. Biofuels is used a lot around the world, and with more advanced technology and ways to create it, like with algae, I think it will be possible, and that would allow it to go back to those massive V8, V10 engines.
Well, Kelly, who we heard from earlier, says that F1 pays lip service to sustainability by trying to sort racetracks and races in similar geographical locations and bringing in engine reduction noise and sustainable fuel. But she thinks that Formula E, the all-electric category, does more for the sustainability message. IndyCar has hybrid and has tried tyre management with sustainable rubber/recycled tyres. And then the British Touring Car Championship also has hybrid engines as well. So she thinks that F1 should leave them to it.
I think they've already made some efforts, like changes to the calendar. I think they have a long way to go, especially when you think about the kind of climate impact of a singular race weekend. Every single spectator, every single team member, the cars, the changes that have to happen to the track and the area. There's such a long way to go. And I think that as much as F1 might want to kind of almost greenfish themselves as being climate conscious with all of the kind of new things they're trying, like with eco-fuel and various other initiatives, I think they have a long way to go. And I hope that they kind of encompass the whole thing.